So the strongest Battlegrounds is nominated for multiple categories this year at the Innovation Awards, but other people don't think the strongest Battlegrounds deserves to win anything, so this video is going to be a defense, but take anything I say with a grain of salt since I have a huge bias towards the strongest Battleground since it's the main game I make content on. But without further ado, let's get to my first point. My first point is bribing. A lot of people against the strongest Battleground think it's bribing their players, yet a bunch of other games are doing this, such as Souls LNG, Piggy, and Tower Defense Simulator. Now there is a difference in what you get, but bribing is bribing, so it's unfair to hold the strongest Battlegrounds accountable when a bunch of other ones are being let free. I do think it is kinda bad of all the devs to be offering a reward just for votes, but I mean you kinda have to when you're against block suits, which by the way is also doing it. Another reason I think that the strongest Battlegrounds deserves to win is because of their updates. Because the strongest Battlegrounds doesn't really have any filler or bad updates. Like at worst you're gonna be getting like one move for a character, but there's been very few updates where we've gotten pretty much nothing. Meanwhile in most of the other games nominated, they don't really have that big of updates. And for block suits for example, yes they have big updates, but most of the time the updates aren't really worth the wait in my opinion, because you have to wait so long just for them to slightly change the map, or for them to add a fruit or two that the average player will not be able to acquire unless they spend large amounts of Robux or a ton of time grinding. But in the strongest Battlegrounds, you don't really have to grind full characters, and if they had a new character update, you would have to spend less than $5 to access the new character in early access. But if you buy it once, you don't have to worry about it ever again because you will always have access to the newest character in the game, which is a lot more than most of these other games. Now another reason I think the strongest Battlegrounds deserves a win is because their community interaction, because even though I do criticize them quite a bit for not being transparent of when we're getting the updates, they still talk and are active with their community, mainly in their Discord, where they do a ton of announcements, game nights, and other things that not much other Roblox studios even do for their communities. And you can tell that the owner truly cares about the strongest Battlegrounds community, which is something you can't really tell or not with a few other games. They also tell us if they think the update's going to be delayed. Like for example with the most recent update, the lead dev said it was supposed to release yesterday, but I'm on a 16-hour plane flight back home, so I'll release it soon after I land, which is an example of him actually telling us when we're getting the update, cause it's not on schedule like it normally is, which is usually once every 2 weeks. Another thing is the content creators, and I'm gonna talk mostly about people's choice for this, but I don't think I've ever seen a YouTuber that has just done Gunfighter Liga or Driving Empire. There have been a few dress to impress ones, but since the game's relatively new, there's not really a way to say how long it'll last. Meanwhile, the strongest Battlegrounds has been thriving for over a year now on the YouTube scene, which is another way that shows how good the community is, and why I think it is at least the people's choice, which I'll be talking more about that later. Another thing with content creators on this is compared to a lot of the other games nominated for the categories this is against, this actually has a whole lot of content you can make in the game. Like I can guarantee if you're active on the YouTube scene inside the strongest Battlegrounds, you will find a huge variety of content coming from challenges, to leaks, to showcases of movesets and stuff, to humbling toxic players, and you can't really get that for most other communities or games inside of Roblox, which is just another thing that makes the strongest Battlegrounds unique compared to this. And before we start talking about each category individually and why the strongest Battlegrounds deserves to win in it, please make sure to subscribe because we're trying to hit 40k subs before the end of the summer, and I know we can do it. And I'm also giving away a game pass at 35k, so you should 100% subscribe. But now it's time to talk about each category individually and why I think the strongest Battlegrounds should win. I'm going to go in order based on when you're able to vote for the award, just to make this video easier to follow. So let's start off with People's Choice. The reason the strongest Battlegrounds deserves the People's Choice award compared to other games is that the strongest Battlegrounds is generally a game most people can enjoy. I get that not everybody enjoys it, but based solely on the player counts, we can see that the strongest Battlegrounds consistently has more players than all the other 3 games possible possibly combined. And therefore it shows that more people prefer to play the strongest Battlegrounds, and therefore that makes it the people's choice. The next award I think it deserves to win is Best Strategy.
But the strongest Battlegrounds has no strategy.
Yes it does, shut up, you're wrong. I haven't played enough of Dusty Triple Anime Defenders to say how much strategy they need, but I admit Tower Defense Simulator does need more strategy than the strongest Battlegrounds, but the strongest Battlegrounds also need strategy. In order to pull off insane combos like the Kyoto combo, you need strategy and timing, and since you need strategy, it counts for this award. Another example of it needing strategy is in the 2v2 mode. Inside of it, you need a strategy with your teammate in order to win. Again, I'm not saying you need more strategy compared to Tower Defense Simulator, but I'm saying the game has strategy. The reason I think it deserves to win in this category more than Tower Defense Simulator is the fact this game changed Roblox, and I know this is a bold statement to make, but Tower Defense Simulator changed Roblox with a whole wave of copies just like the strongest Battlegrounds, but the key difference in both of these is that each time you play a Battlegrounds game, you're gonna be fighting someone completely different who has a different strategy, compared to Tower Defense game where you only really need a new strategy every time they add a map. And since you only need to change your strategy whenever there's a new map, you can go to the same map, same difficulty, same towers, and use the same strategy over and over. But in the strongest Battlegrounds, you can't really do that as easily. If this somehow isn't enough to convince you that the strongest Battlegrounds at least has strategy, then listen to why I think it should win in the final category it's nominated for, Best Fighting. Now we already know which one of these two games are going to win, which is strongest Battlegrounds or Blox Fruits. These other two games don't really stand a chance in my opinion, but the reason that strongest Battlegrounds deserves to win over Blox Fruits, even though yes you do fight in both of them, fighting is not the main focus of Blox Fruits. The main focus of it is to grind up, beat up bandits, instead of fighting other players. Meanwhile in the strongest Battlegrounds, its main focus is to beat up other players, and get as much kills as you can, and fight for most people. And this is further cemented by the fact kill streaks are in the game, and the game highlights you if you have over 10 kills without dying, which just shows how much of a fighting game it actually is. And because of that, it should count for Best Fighting, because it is literally better than all of these games right here. But yeah, I made this video just because I wanted to go yap about why I think the strongest Battlegrounds should be winning these awards. So comment down below if you agree with me, and if you want more information about this, I highly recommend checking out Craft's video on it. He did a good job explaining all of the drama with this event, but if you want to see more videos from my channel, go watch this one where I do a bunch of dares inside the strongest Battlegrounds. Subscribe so we can go hit 40k, and for now, peace.